Would you believe that I have never seen Back to the Future the movie, but I went to see the musical and I really enjoyed it. And in this video, I'm gonna share my reasons why this musical is well worth checking out. Back to the Future movie was released in 1985, and ever since people have loved this movie. It is one of those movies that people come back to quite often, and there is a really strong following. And somehow this has gone past me and I have never noticed it. And this might be due to me not necessarily being really into futuristic type of stories. However, going to see this musical, I kind of had split expectations, because I know some people who went to see it who are big fans of the movie and they kind of felt a little bit flat about it. And then I also know that this is a musical that has won Olivier Award for the Best New Entertainment Show. It is a show that has been going strong in the West End for a few years. However, it has a slightly different story in terms of its success on Broadway. It closed after 2 years, whereas like in London, you can still book it all the way until January, and it might also get extended. So what is this movie about for anyone who, like me, might have not seen it? It follows Marty McFly, who is a high school student, and he's a really good pal with Doc Brown, who is this eccentric scientist who lives in this little town. And basically Doc Brown invents this time machine, and because Marty was really frustrated with everything that was happening in his family and his dad really showing zero confidence and just everything being slightly dysfunctional, he wanted to go back in the past 30 years ago to kind of like understand his parents a little bit better. And Marty goes into the past not really understanding how to navigate and how can he actually travel back into the present moment and how he can help Doc Brown. Story is set actually in the 1955. This is reflected obviously in the way that the cast is dressed, the music they're listening to, also the way that the songs are sung and the choreographies. All of it is kind of set in that era, but it also has a really good evergreen appeal, because yes, you do get the costumes that are set in that era, but I think that the music in the musical is also timeless. So the number one reason why I really enjoyed Back to the Future is its amazing set design by Tim Hatley. This is the highlight of the show for me, especially when it's paired up with the special effects that I'm going to talk about in a moment. The beauty of this set is that it's actually extending into the auditorium, and when you are sitting, you are seeing these electronic nodes that are going towards balcony and royal circle, and just this dimension really adds something futuristic to the show as soon as you enter. It is one of those like wow factors. They also have different announcements on the screen that are in that glitchy way that like old computer machines would send announcements to basically, you know, not take pictures or to like tag the musical and things like that on Instagram. Also, when you enter into the theater, everything is set out like the way that it was back in the day. Names of the different shops, gyms, everything looks like basically it's set back in the 80s. So from the moment you enter into the theater, you're really bought into this story. So the second really amazing thing is the special effects, which I think go hand in hand with the set design. Obviously, the car in Back to the Future is one of the most iconic moments, and the entrance of the car of the stage is pretty cool. There's also this transparent wall at different parts of the show that really helps with certain projections on it and making the depth of the stage play visual tricks on us, especially as Marty is in the car and he's going into the future and how like everything whizzes by him, and it really makes it feel cinematic. So I really enjoyed those elements of it. I think that they've done really well to differentiate when that happens, because the whole theater feels it and it's done with really good sound effects, and the whole set is changing the colors and you really kind of feel that switch, which I think it was probably the trickiest one to master or get right, and I do think that they have done that. The third thing about this show is the cast. I do think that Marty and Doc Brown have done a fantastic job. The two of them have such amazing chemistry on stage, and I think if the show was just the two of them, honestly, I would have loved it as well. Marty McFly is played by Caden Brouch, who actually was on the American tour of Back to the Future, and then West End Productions stole him. He is now our lead and he is fantastic. And then Doc Brown is played by Corey English. And obviously so important for these two characters to be done right because of the story and because of the camaraderie that they have with each other in the show. They truly are like son son and father that maybe Marty wish have had, but then they also act like they're friends, like they're best pals. So there is such a beautiful chemistry between the two of them, and I think that they are doing it justice in terms of bringing this beautiful relationship to life and how much they care for each other and how much they're willing to do for each other. Corey English does a fantastic job of delivering Doc Brown. It is full of humorous elements. His numbers are the funniest in the show. The choreography, the way that he owns the comedic timing, he's definitely one of those actors that when he's on stage, all eyes are on him and you can really feel like he is living and breathing this character. So I really, really love his portrayal. On the other hand, Caden is bringing that really youthful energy to Marty McFly. He is also confident when he's in the 50s and trying to defend his dad. There are also plenty of hilarious elements, as you can imagine, with Marty and his mom, and when his mom is falling for him when she's a teenager, not knowing that that is her son from the future. Those are some of the really fun scenes that a lot of people have really reacted well to. Alex Chronicles is playing Biff, and he is a proper personification of a bully. He is great at this role, and especially because there is a shift towards the end when he is not the bully. It is just amazing to witness that contrast. Also, his hairstyle throughout all these different phases is hilarious, so I think they really nailed the costumes for him. C.G. Borger is in a role of Goldie Wilson and Marvin Berry, and this was really delightful to watch. One of the best numbers of the show was Gotta Go Somewhere, which is performed by CJ Borger, and I really enjoyed it. Which brings me to my fourth point about this show, and that is the music. While obviously Back to the Future is not a musical, I think that they've done a really good job with capturing the essence of the story with some really catchy tunes. Some of my favorite numbers from the show are It Works, which is delivered by Doc Brown, and it is super fun to watch. Then Gotta Start Somewhere is also one of the really good showstopper moments that is so motivational. And another one of my favorite is For the Dreamers, that is also delivered by Doc Brown. I honestly think that Doc Brown has the best songs in the musical. There are also some other nice songs such as Pretty Baby or Something About That Boy. There are quite a few different numbers that are super energetic and engaging, so I'm sure that if you go and check this musical out, you will find your favorite that you might listen to on repeat. As mentioned, I'm not the right person to compare this musical to the movie because I haven't seen the movie, but I know that some critics have said that it has stayed very much true to the original story. And one thing that I can definitely comment on and notice that it really taps into that nostalgia from the 50s and 80s and just a different time capsule. So I think it is one of those shows that has a truly unique vibe to it, and when you go and see it, it does feel different to the other shows in the West End. While it is a musical, there's something about it that it doesn't feel like a typical musical, and I think it is the set and special effects and such distinct characters that are so fun to watch. And the best thing about it is that it is suitable for the whole family. I think if you go with your 10-12-year-old, they're gonna have so much fun, but then at the same time, if you go, you're gonna really enjoy yourself. So it's not a show that is completely tailored just to like family and younger audiences, but it really caters to everyone and has a lot of those like beautiful nuggets of story that are literally about accepting your family and loving where you come from and understanding your parents better and understanding your son and daughter better and all of that. So, and I do think it's such a feel-good musical that is very much worth seeing, and I'm so glad that I went to see it because I didn't feel the connection to the movie. I thought that this might be one of those musicals that I really don't need to check out, but I'm so glad I did. So if you want to go and see Back to the Future, you can see it until January 2026. It is very likely that the musical will actually extend, and I managed to get my ticket through Rush Tickets for £30, and I had a really good seat in the stalls. So you can check Rush Tickets on Today Ticks, but they will be on the day, or you can just book in advance and find slightly cheaper tickets if you're trying to go on a budget. But if you're wondering how can you consistently find cheaper tickets, and check out this video where I'm talking about my favorite ways to find them in London.